Hey everyone, One Dragon here. Today we're taking a look at the Netrunner changes introduced in patch 1.3. Most of these changes are listed, however there are a couple of unlisted ones that are there as well. First of all, in case you sell your legendary quick hacks, you can recraft them. Now for a few unlisted changes to quick hacks. First, they updated the icon for overheat, which looks kinda cool. They also changed the description and possibly functionality for two quick hacks, memory wipe and sonic shock. I rarely use these two quick hacks last patch, so I can't say if these are added functionality or are simply an updated description of how they work. Previously, memory wipe stated causes the target to exit combat state. However, now the description is updated, stating target exits combat state temporarily while the hack is active. An enemy outside combat cannot enter the combat state. So this allows you to simply walk up to the enemy and use takedowns. So taking a look at Sonic Shock. From memory there were some issues with Sonic Shock previously, but it added this passive in 1.3. Enemies under the effect of any quick hack are cut off from the local network, preventing them from communicating with their allies. It is important to note that while Sonic Shock is equipped, this passive applies to things that would typically not alert enemies, such as ping and possibly even breach protocol. So if you're going to try and use this, make sure that you're using it with care. Next is a massive change to Netrunning, which is removing the ability to hack through walls. Previously, if you pinged enemies, it showed the location, gave them that outline so you could track their movement, and it also allowed you to quick hack enemies through walls. Now you either need line of sight or a camera view of the enemies to apply quick hacks. Currently, you can still quick hack devices through walls. Next is a huge nerf to Contagion. Its base damage is significantly lower than last patch, and the damage dealt to subsequent targets is listed as 20% extra damage, which has been dropped from 30%. I personally avoided using Contagion before because it was simply too easy to delete enemies, and it had no risk associated with it. However, I did test it with crit stacking just to see how broken it could get. From my initial testing, as soon as you hit 16 intelligence and had that crit perk, Contagion could pretty much solo complete missions from complete safety with crit stacking, and it only required one cast of Contagion to wipe out the majority of enemies. This often meant that you didn't need to invest in any perks or cooldowns or RAM management, and was simply a stronger version of ultimate quick hacks as it spread over large distances. It also had a lower cooldown and obviously lower RAM costs as well. So just to demonstrate that, I will show you one of the missions where I tested it in. So some notes about the testing in 1.2. With this high amount of damage, I never needed to invest in many Netrunning perks, and as you can see, the initial starting damage number of Contagion literally one-shot the enemies, dealing their entire health bar before any of the poison damage even really hit. This fast nature of wiping out enemies also allowed me to be undetected. Now I'm showing the footage from patch 1.3. I reloaded the save from that exact moment, and as you can tell, I need to use breach protocol. I have also spec'd up a few perks for RAM management and cooldown reduction just so I could test Contagion out. I have the same 600 plus crit damage that was in the previous clip, and you should be able to notice that the damage is significantly lower, taking several casts of Contagion. So what does net running look like now? You either have to peek the enemies or use the camera network if there is one. The fact that scanning enemies with Kiroshi optics slows time still makes it quite easy to apply quick hacks without getting damage, but it does pose some risk of being detected, or if you've already been detected, can pose some risk of getting shot at or getting hit. Due to the damage of Contagion being nerfed, if there is a large amount of enemies, it buys them some time to track down the player. Since you can't wipe out an entire building with a few casts of Contagion, you may have to consider other aspects of net running, like RAM management, cooldowns, and use a number of other quick hacks which you may not have used much of before. Overall, net running is more balanced than it was before, and encourages different gameplay that was simply unnecessary in the previous patches due to the overpowered nature of Contagion. For those that, like me, enjoy fighting enemies with the red skull or completing missions while underleveled, there are a number of options that you can still use, providing that you min-max your crit damage. That pretty much covers net running in patch 1.3. If you'd like to see more Cyberpunk content, consider subscribing. I'll catch you later, Chooms.